fun memories, long nights, and neckbeards. These are all things that we would all associate with gaming. However, have you ever wondered what a webtoon about gaming would look like? Well, wonder no more. Let's Play is one of the most popular webtoon original, with over 4.8 million people subscribing to it. It's safe to say that many people enjoy the webtoon. However, could it be, dare I say, overrated? Well, honestly, I don't know. I hear a lot of mixed reviews on it. Some people say it's the holy grail of webtoons. It is a webtoon you have to see before you die. And some other people say it's hot garbage. So I'm gonna read the webtoon and tell you guys what I think about it. However, I will say I am only gonna read 10 chapters. Now guys, I know what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say. Just hear me out. As much as I would read all 175 chapters, my phone just can't take that. Not to mention, each episode is pretty long anyways, so yeah. Maybe someday I'll do an entire webtoon. Anyways, 10 chapters of Let's Play, let's go! We start off with the main character Sam, telling us about how much she loves gaming. She explains how she made a game which she spent countless hours on. She emphasizes how she spent all of her time on making this game. After she finally finished her game, she put it up on an indie game website. Initially, her game received positive feedback and... hold on. Ah! Californian! Exterminate! Exterminate! Anyways, one day she started receiving terrible feedback after her game was reviewed by this guy. His name's Martial Law, but I'm just gonna call him Markiplier. He's supposed to be a top gamer personality, and you'd think that would mean he's persistent about beating a game. However, not only is he not persistent, but when he died, he immediately blames the developer for making the game quote-unquote too hard. I would honestly pay good money to see him try and beat the world's hardest game. After Markiplier makes a bad review, all of his stans review bomb the game. You know, Markiplier's fandom wouldn't really do this. His fandom is reminding me of a different gamer personality. Sam is obviously devastated at this, and to get her mind off of this, she walks her dog. His name is Bowser. Yeah, I'm not calling him that. She notices some boxes next door and figures that someone is moving in. She wonders who they are, but hopes they're nice. Oh, what's this? The person who's moving in is conveniently right behind her. I sure do wonder who this person could be. After feeling the touch of a woman, presumably for the very first time, Markiplier asks her if she's alright. Sam eventually realizes who this is, and she's shocked. I'm hoping that immediately after this, Sam goes ham on Mark for being the worst gamer. Episode 2 begins immediately after the first episode, with Sam still in shock. She immediately begins to look for her glasses, as she thinks to herself, why did she have to run into him of all people? He then goes down to pick up her glasses when all of a sudden Bowser starts growling at him, doing the funny dog meme. However, instead of being intimidated, Markiplier starts cuddling the dog. Luckily for Bowser, Sam saves him before Mark gets the chance to eat him. Markiplier then goes to introduce himself, but for whatever reason, Sam proceeds to tell him every detail of his life. Bro, why would you do this? Like, I get he's famous and all, but I'm sure he'd be a little creeped out at someone telling him his entire childhood in detail. Anyway, she tells him she's a game developer. He asks her which game, and she tells him Ruminate. He then basically says he did the most in-depth analysis of her game, and she should accept his supreme intellect. Obviously, she calls him out for doing a terrible review. He then tells her he basically gave her free publicity, unaware to the fact that his fanbase nuked her game simply because he got mad at it. She then threatens to sue him if he reviews her game again. Jeez, I wonder who will defend him in court. Episode 3 begins with a flashback to the last episode. The episode actually begins with Sam at a coffee shop. She cries to the barista, saying quite possibly the worst piece of dialogue so far. Look man, I don't judge people for gaming. Okay, maybe some people deserve to be judged. Grr. But dog, using gamer terminology in real life is the same as using uwu and owo. Anyways, the baristas comfort Sam, asking her what happened. Sam explains the situation, and she's still using gamer terminology! Alright, that's it Sam, we gotta send you to gamer concentration camp. Sam finally explains the situation in good detail. Sam is worried since she heard similar things happen to other developers and their ratings didn't get restored. Sam, just be glad you didn't get reviewed by Dream. Had this been his fandom, you likely would have had to leave the country. Out of nowhere, we're introduced to two new characters, Angela and Vicky. They seem to be Sam's friends since they both are worried that Sam's been crying. Sam explains the situation to them, and Angela decides she's going to commit multiple felonies to sort this out. Vicky then explains everything in a wise manner, stating that Markiplier's fans are to blame. Sam begins to overthink, and she begins to have a panic attack. Nice try, Let's Play, but Breaking Bad already had a panic attack millions of times better than this. She's then comforted by her friends, reassuring her that her game is good. Sam begins to head back to her apartment when all of a sudden she walks past two Markiplier stands. They trash talk her game conveniently right in front of her. This has the same vibe as that one Darman video. You guys know which one, right? The one where one of his actors encounters two haters. I'm just picturing some Darman narration kicking in right now. And then out of nowhere, the two haters were hit by high-grade explosives. Episode 4 starts with a phone call between Sam and Angela. Angela asks if she ran into Marshmallow? We're then shown a flashback of Sam James Bonding her way back into her apartment. Angela then asks her if she avoided him, and Sam basically says yes. Bruh, does everything have to be a gamer reference with you? Out of nowhere, someone knocks on Sam's door. She goes to see who it is, and it's revealed to be her landlady, Miss Whipple. Sam comes out to see her and asks her what she's there for. She tells her that she's there to inform her about the new neighbor, to which Sam says they've already met. Miss Whipple then says she wants them to go welcome him. Sam then tries to make up excuses so she doesn't have to go welcome him. Miss Whipple then goes evil mode as she asks her if they have any beef. After this, I can't tell if everyone really likes Miss Whipple or they're just terrified at her unleashing her wrath on them. Mark opens the door to see Sam and Miss Whipple. Markiplier then starts doing his usual flattery. He then formally greets Sam and puts out his hand. Of course, Sam would want nothing more than to erase Mark from existence, but she ends up shaking hands with him. Mark then notices she has gamer callus. Sam and Mark then start bonding over gaming. What a surprise! Sam then realizes she's getting too chummy with Mark. Miss Whipple then lets herself into Mark's apartment, and Mark fails miserably to stop her. While this is going on, Sam checks out Mark's apartment. She then finds all this equipment, and, well, I'm not too sure as to what these are. I guess I'll just have to look them up. I'm sure they're just We start off this episode with a highly anticipated moment. Believe it or not, Sam is gaming! Sam starts petting Bowser when all of a sudden she gets a flashback to earlier when she was in Mark's apartment. Sam checks his boxes to see if he really does have explicit items in there, and it turns out it's just clothes. Markiplier notices that she's looking at the boxes and scrambles to tell her the context. Sam and Miss Whipple head out, but before she can go, Markiplier asks her if she knows anywhere that sells good Chinese food. And even though Sam gives him a death stare, she ends up telling him a good place. But before he can thank her, she quickly heads out. Sam then thinks about what Vicky said. You know what? Maybe she's right. Perhaps I've been too harsh to you, Dream. Wait a second, he adds fuel to the fire! Never mind, Dream. Taking back my sympathy. Out of nowhere, Markiplier begins recording for a new video. Now Mark, I understand that you have to record a video, and the grind can't stop. But late at night? Bro, be glad your neighbors aren't witch hunting you. Episode Episode 6 starts with Sam slamming her alarm clock. We're then shown her morning routine in RPG format. She then enters work at Young Technologies. Wait, Sam, you had a whole company at the palm of your hand and you didn't use it? Bro, with that much corporate power, you could have stormed Markiplier's home ages ago. She's then greeted by who I'm naturally assuming is her boss. His name is Charles, and they begin discussing work stuff. He says he was explaining details with someone in London for hours over the phone. That probably means he was guiding them to the airport. Sam tells him she wants to be given a different role for her job, and Charles essentially denies her. He then sends her to go make coffee, and ew, what is that on the wall? Do they really let stains like that stay in the... Oh wait, it's just modern art. While making the coffee, she's greeted by the world's healthiest gamer, who tells her he finally got master rank in a game. He then asks her how her weekend was, to which Sam awkwardly mumbles that her weekend was kinda terrible. A coworker then tells them that they're ready to start the meeting. During the meeting, Charles assigns each worker with different roles. Sam doesn't get the role that she wants. Umed then looks at her concerned. Now sure, he may be concerned for how she's taking this news since she didn't want to do data entry, but I personally believe he's concerned for Charles as Sam may or may not unleash her full power on him. Sam is then greeted by another worker named Lucy, who tells her that her father— Now this is terrifying. I already knew Sam could be terrifying if pushed too far, but her father is probably on a whole other level. Before the episode ends, Umed tells Charles if he's got a minute. He's probably telling him to skip town to avoid the father-daughter wrath that's about to be unleashed. Sam enters her dad's office, clearly terrified. Her dad asks her how she's been, and she tells him that she doesn't want to talk about it. Her dad turns around, and I start thinking, this is it, Sam is about to be eaten alive. Imagine my shock when I find out her father is the— He starts crying to Sam about how much he misses his wife, and credit where credit is due, this is a pretty funny bit. He talks about his wife as if she's dead, when in reality she's in Florida. Honestly, dude, there's not that much of a difference. And he also watches her commercials to make himself feel better. The commercial in question turns out to be a Viagra knockoff. I can't lie, this actually made me laugh. Well done, Let's Play. You made me say something positive about a webtoon. He asks Sam if she can— She tells him that due to the fact that they're in Florida, the filming is taking longer than expected. Also, she said that he's being too clingy. Now, how dare you speak ill of the best character this web— Anyone who speaks badly about him won't live to regret it. We then cut to Umed talking with Charles about the roles he gave everyone. Umed tries vouching for Sam, but Charles justifies why he gave everyone their roles, saying that Jacob, this guy, is an artist. Umed retorts by saying Jacob is a graffiti artist. Now Umed, I think you're underestimating graffiti artists. Some of them have just a little bit of talent. Charles then says that Sam has more opportunity than Jacob does in their company, so he shouldn't be shot down. Umed then says, okay, I've been summarizing this conversation for too long, let's just skip it. Sam returns to her desk to see that all of the files are missing, only to find that Umed has them. Umed then tells her that he came in clutch and to show everyone what she's made of. However, he reminds her that she's in charge of training Jacob. You know what? Jacob looks a little familiar. He looks like— uh-oh. The episode starts with Sam at the coffee shop. She's chatting with Link about a new project she's working on. Link then tries to ask her out to the movies, but she declines his offer. Now Link, what did you think would happen? It's, when did this episode come out?
December 2017.
December 2017, and you decide to take her out to a Jason Bourne knockoff? Shame. You could have asked her out to— Star Wars! I've never seen Star Wars, but I'm sure all their movies are great. Link then tries asking her out again, but it falls flat once more. Dee then saves Link from an awkward moment. Dee tells Link that in all the time that she's known her, Sam hasn't been interested in anyone. Now Link, don't worry, you're a good-looking man and you seem nice. I'm sure she'd like you. You do have one massive flaw, however. You're Californian. Sam begins working on the game, but she then begins to think about the engineer situation. She snaps out of it, telling herself that she needs to work. All of a sudden, Markiplier starts gamer raging. Unfortunately, this causes her to break her computer, and now she has ascended to Super Gamer 2. Now, how do you think Sam will retaliate? Will she A. No-scope Markiplier out of existence, B. do a Mortal Kombat finisher on him, or C. spare his life? Oh, what a surprise! The introverted person chose the introverted option. Episode 9 starts with... Wait, hold on, did they improve the art? You know what, guys? Round of applause. Sam then sees that Bowser has destroyed a piece of paper. Curious as to what's written on it, she puts it back together. It's then revealed that it was Markiplier who made the note, telling her that soundproof paneling will be coming tomorrow. She overreacts, thinking that Mark knew she was the one who slipped the paper, when in reality, he sent one to everyone. You know what, Mark? For being such a terrible reviewer, you're not such a bad guy. It's unfortunate that your fandom is this webtoon's equivalent of dream stands. We then see Sam at work, teaching Jacob how to do his job. Jacob then says some stereotypical stoner stuff, which leaves Sam and Umed speechless. Jacob then tells him he's joking, and Umed laughs uncontrollably. Jacob then shows us how smart he actually is, telling Sam about color theory. After Jacob gets back to his workstation, Sam receives a text. It's here that we see the assembling of the gamers. A little unrealistic though, a gamer meetup wouldn't be this attractive, especially for this webtoon's equivalent of League of Legends. The episode starts with Sam checking her mail. She goes through a bunch of junk mail when all of a sudden someone comes up from behind her. Oh, this panel is sketchy. Markiplier apologizes to Sam for startling her, and as Sam is about to berate him, she notices he seems unusually tired. He explains to her that he just finished a 12-hour charity stream. Very cool, Mark. Charity streams are always nice. I wonder which charity you partnered with. Sam then runs out of there, as she has to be on time for the gamer meetup. We then cut to the pizzeria, where they're meeting up. We're then shown each of their player profiles. My least favorite being Dallas's, simply because nobody, not even a Redditor, would name themselves this. Anyways, they enter the pizzeria, and the workers are clearly terrified, probably because they still play League of Legends. They proceed to do cool poses at the door. Let me just make this a bit more realistic.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no.
Well, that was 10 chapters of Let's Play, and I gotta say, it surprised me in a good way. Now, granted, it wasn't something groundbreaking. It wasn't Breaking Bad, the webtoon, or anything like that. But for what it is, it's nice. It's not the greatest webtoon, with some moments making me scratch my head, like the amount of gamer phrases. Nobody says this in real life! But there were some parts that made me laugh, and it managed to be pretty endearing. However, I might come back to this, as the people who left negative reviews on this seem to actually be critiquing this webtoon and not just hating. Maybe something tragic happens, like Sam's dad died in a car crash. Final statement? It's alright. Anyways, I think that's gonna wrap up this video. Thank you to everyone who watched this video in its entirety. If you guys enjoyed this video, then please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. If you guys have any video suggestions or any other webtoons you want me to review, then please leave it in the comments section below. And with that, I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.